Good gaming champions. Welcome to Champions of Tabletop Podcast Edition. I'm the host, Matt, and of course with me are my guys. We've got Dion, owner of Voss Media. We've got Shay, the gaming developer on the rise. Gentlemen, it's great to see you both back here at Voss Media. Thanks for being here today. We got some great topics to go through.
I am excited.
Let's go.
You sound like it.
I am very excited.
So excited.
You should be excited.
I am.
Because we got some great topics to go through today. And before we go into it, of course, we want to say thank you to all of those who have liked and subscribed the videos. It means the world to us.
Absolutely.
You know, definitely keep that up. We had our first video cross 1,000 views, which meant the world to us. So thank you for all of the patronage and taking the time to like and subscribe and comment. That means the world to us. So if you haven't yet, takes 10 seconds of your time. We'd love it to do that. Also, we want to thank our partners this week's episode, Van Ryder Games, the makers of Final Girl. I'll say Shay so you don't have to. Many other great games. They are partnering with us this month, so we're very thankful to all of them for that. And then, of course, Voss Media, who hosts us every week, bringing the podcast to all of you. Thank you for the space. A little busy tonight, so we might have a little bit of a live audience. Which is kind of
it's always a good thing.
That's right. So, gentlemen, with that said, let's get right into viewer comments. This is your chance to sound off and tell us what you think based on the episodes and what we're talking about. So, this week, viewer comments. We're going to start with General Chaos 40K. He says, if we are saying dexterity games aren't board games, can we agree that CCGs are not board games as well?
Agreed. You will not hear me argue on that at all.
Okay.
If he wants to meet me in the middle on that. Now, they are tabletop games, unfortunately. I never said they weren't tabletops. Dexterity.
Unfortunately?
I'm kidding. So, dexterity is a form of a tabletop game that you can enjoy.
By definition, it is a board game, for the record.
And CCGs are a form of a tabletop game you can enjoy, right?
Technically, by definition, not a board game.
Yeah, well, not a board, but still
Tabletop.
like... Yes.
Tabletop game, yes.
And I mean, then you get into the art, then you start cutting hairs and saying, like, are deck builders not board games because they're all cards? And let's not do that. I agree. CCGs and TCGs are not board games. However, they are part of the news because they are tabletop games and we are tabletop champions. So,
yeah. Next comment from Nat20 Games. She says, Lorcana is amazing. Also, Team Sleeves.
I agree. Team Sleeves.
We're gonna come back to that too. That's not a finalized topic for tonight.
Nat20 Gaming, isn't that a great name? That is awesome.
That is a great name.
One of our repeat offenders here, Michael WMU, says Flesh and Blood is not a horror game. It's a fantasy 1v1 where you are pulling off combo attacks and such. Kind of back to our conversation around that. And next we've got Merge Z, who says sleeve every game where the main component are cards. Don't sleeve games that have cards as an incidental component. I hate to say it, but hashtag Dion was right.
I'm right. You guys get that? So, mark it on the calendar, boys.
Now we know what Dion's YouTube channel name is.
No, that's not me. It's not me. Definitely not me.
Okay. Michael Galia 761 says, look, Shay, you are forever wrong. If you are playing my game, you are touching sleeves. Gaming is a community event, and you didn't spend money on my game, so you don't get to ruin my game.
Ooh.
Hashtag Matt was right. Probably one of the best hashtags I've seen since we started this. And the last comment we have is from Bully9435, a very appropriate name for this comment. He says, that Matt guy is a nerd.
That is so true. I like him. I don't even know who he is. He's now. He is now highlighted on. I'm going to go on tonight and thumbs up that comment. That is brilliant. Love it.
I think he also put on our top 3 list that the Matt guy is wrong on everything. So
love the
we
bully.
Also found Dion's other YouTube channel name as well.
The
obviously.
bully? Yeah. That's what I like to be called, the bully. No, that is not me. I do agree with him, by the way, but that's not me. Yeah.
Well, speaking of agreeing with, let's get to our segment of Fall on the Sword. So guess what happens here? Speaking of getting bullied. Well, the comments and the poll
bullied.
all agree that Shay,
Is wrong.
Yep. That's,
sleeve them up, baby. That's what the poll says. Viewers agree. Sleeve those games. How do you feel about that?
so I would say that doesn't mean nothing. I'm still not going to sleep up my games, but then you
Except
have to
the one.
except for the one that I can't name. But I feel like there's something that's about to be said that's going to make me cry a little bit. So go ahead, just rip the Band-Aid off.
All right.
Dude.
So, for those of you who don't know, a little context behind the scenes. Shay and I finally had a chance to get together a couple days ago and play a wonderful game here at Voss in Galesburg, Michigan. And that game was, what was it, Shay?
You can keep going.
It was called Heat.
The one he's supposed to be winning at Gen Con later?
Yeah,
Is
the
that-
one. The one he was going to be winning Gen Con. But I'll tell you what, there's only one of us that walked away with the belt, baby. Smoked him, championship
You
mode.
did not smoke me.
Smoked him.
Wait. I could pull up the.
You had your
game right now.
DRS on, and it did not matter.
You did not smoke me.
Smoked him.
Okay, I'll be real. Let's get
Two of the three races. Smoked him.
The scores at the end of it. Oh no, we're not going this camera. We're going to this camera, the one that's with me. No, we're not going that camera. We're going this camera. Sweet. We did not get smoked. He beat me. It was like 21 because every time you do a race, you get like wherever you place, you get a score. It was him like 21, me like 18. That's not a smoke. And that he doesn't want to admit a fact that the only way he won, which I'm not saying you're bad. I'm not saying it's an asterisk or anything. I'm saying I literally was right behind you, literally one space behind. So the smoke, no. You beat me? Good job.
We see it different ways. So with that though, Shay, it's been a rough week for you.
Yeah, and actually I didn't sleep on it because literally last time I did that I was at 6th place and this time I was at 2nd place. So I see growth.
Okay.
That's why I see growth.
That's the way to look at it.
exactly.
Getting better.
Getting better.
Dion, do you have anything for Falling the Sword?
I know I will not be playing games with you two, just so we're clear. No
Why?
games. None.
Why?
Because
I'm not competitive.
Because you're afraid
you know,
that
No.
you know
only
I
one
am
of us is
listen.
going to walk away. True champion.
when my wife told me, when I told my wife I was opening up a game store, okay, and I said we're going to teach games there and show people how to play games, she said, you're going to have to learn how to lose. Because I don't know how to lose. So she said, you're going to have to learn how to lose. You're not going to be able to teach somebody a game and just destroy them.
Exactly.
So over the past year and a half, year, I have been playing a game and picking a strategy that I don't think will win. But I just pick a weird strategy when I play, and then I play through the game. If I win, I'm barely pulling out a win, but I'm not just beating the crap out of somebody. I'm teaching them a game, which should be the right way to teach people, by the way. Took me a while to learn that. So to flip that switch back on, I would hate to destroy both of you in any game and feel really bad about it. Hashtag blood rage, I will lap you in.
I feel like he has thrown a gauntlet down.
I'm just saying I don't want to play games with you guys because I hate to lose. Oh, God, I hate to lose. But I don't mind losing in games that I'm learning or I'm teaching. If we pull out a game that I know really well, don't know if I could pull back. The only couple people that I don't pull back on when I'm teaching a game is Brandon, John, or I can't even remember. Evan. They're the only three I don't like. I go on because they're really good. And if you go look at my wall of champions, John's on there like 3 or 4 times. So you can't give him any kind of inkling that even when you're teaching him, because he'll just run away with the game.
Yeah.
So, and Brandon's the same way. He's an intelligent guy that if you sit down,
This is our former producer.
yeah, our former producer, Brandon, he's right on top of it. So, but anyway, that I'm not playing with you guys. That's my fall on the sword. Not playing a game with both of you because I don't want to hear the back talk. It would drive me insane, and I would violence.
You know what
Violence.
I
Tons
hear?
of violence.
You know what I hear, Shay?
Tons
What
of
do
violence.
you hear?
I hear fear.
That's not fear.
That's not fear.
It's not
I
fear.
hear somebody.
It's unleash the beast,
is-
man.
You know what I hear? I hear
Step
instigating. That's what I hear right
What's
now.
that?
I hear instigating.
That's what I hear.
I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
You're like
That's
the
right.
kid in the
Yeah,
back, like
stir the
fight him, push him in the face. Like you're that guy in the back that nobody wants.
I just see.
No, don't do it. It's
I
not
just
worth
see
it.
somebody running away. So We'll find out. We'll find out.
There's only one of us here with a game master on the back of their shirt. I'm just saying.
I mean,
There's only one of us with a belt over the shoulder right now, too.
But with my name on it.
low key high.
Just the business.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying with my name on
I
it.
could buy a belt, too.
You're going to need to.
All right, everybody, let's go ahead and move on to industry news, our chance to talk about some of the big highlights, lowlights, news happening in the board game industry. So this week, our two main topics we're going to go through. The first one is Capstone Games, obviously the makers of games like Ark Nova, very popular publisher. They have a new-ish kind of republishing game called Weimar. It is a 6-hour play with 4 people. So, kind of bringing this type of game up, it raises a couple questions I think are interesting in the hobby space, which is there a market for long play games? And the second follow-up question is going to be, should they be one shot if you're going to sit down and play for 6 hours, or should it be episodic as 6 hours towards a bigger picture? What do you think?
It matters the game. Like, personally, you're not seeing me at the table for 6 hours. There's none I have played that will give me to it. Now, do I think is there a market for it? Oh yeah. There is a war gaming group that comes like almost every other Saturday, I believe. They will play a game like this. So I see the market for it. And for me to be able to do a game like that, one, I have to be very much invested on the theme. And that's just personally me. And I cannot sit through, like, if it's just a engine builder or whatever that has like a type of thing, but it's not really crazy thematic into it, I can't do it. But there is definitely a group who would do it, and more than just that group. But, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So recently, Capstone Games haven't been making very many misses, right? They've been hitting a lot of them out of the park. Ark Nova, they just did Beer and Bread. They've been doing well, over the past couple years, I would say. They see the Twilight Imperium groups. They see the 18XX groups, as Shay mentioned, the board game, wargaming groups. There is a market for that kind of game. What that game is about, I come unprepared today. I did not do enough research to say I would like it or not. If it's a Euro style game, I think I would be very intrigued to at least try it.
It's definitely a heavy Euro.
Yeah, but I mean, games, there's always been a market for that Risk. I mean, there's always been a market for an 8-hour game, right?
Monopoly with the wrong people, right?
Yeah, with the wrong people, right? But I mean, there's always been a market for that. So I don't know if the question is there a market? Because the answer is absolutely yes. There is a market. Is it going to hit everybody? No, I don't think that the mainstream people. I struggle to get the mainstream people to sit down with a 4-hour game. So I highly doubt I'm going to get them to sit down with the 6 or more, right? So Twilight Imperium is not my gig, but I know we meet every other weekend or the last Saturday of every month we meet here, and we fill 2 tables of 8 people apiece that are just here to play an 8-hour game. They show up at noon, they start playing at 1, and they probably leave at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. So there is a market for it, and those kind of groups play. But this game I don't know enough about to really speak on, but I am very excited to learn more about it as the game is released. Hopefully they redo some of the pieces, because the pictures I did see were not the greatest. So hopefully they redo the game, but there's definitely a market out there for it. I don't know.
So Shay, if you're developing a game then, if 6 hours seems long to you, then what is like that sweet spot that you want to aim for?
It matters what type of game it is. Like, even if we did a TTRPG, I can see a session going 6 hours, but only if we're taking like a break in between. But any games I do is not really a break because I do a lot of horror games. And so you don't really want to lose that feel. So I'm thinking at max 3 to 4 hours if it's like TTRPG. Board game, I personally don't want to play a game more than an hour and a half. That's like a sweet spot for me, because even if it wasn't like a big thing, I can deal with it. And there's I'm not saying I won't play any games that is 3 hours. Like Arc Nova, it will be like not 3 hours, but it'll be in the higher tier of time, especially with how many players you have. We said this before, Nemesis, it takes about an hour to set it up. So,
is that what they're saying on the box is 6 hours? Is that what they're saying is on the box? Well, let's all agree that whatever's on the box is not realistic, right?
Right.
And so it could be 8 to 10 hours for this game, right?
In my game group, it'd be like 13 to 24.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So, I mean, gosh, setup alone in that kind of game. So I mean, like I said, there's a market. I don't know if it's for me individually. I need more information.
And here's a question to somebody who has to pay attention to moving inventory. What kind of demand do you see in the industry for these type of games? I mean, in terms of sales, where does an Eclipse, where does a Twilight Imperium kind of fall in that spectrum of, if you get 5 copies, are they moving, or do they take permanent residence in your store for a long time?
Well, the problem is usually a lot of the games are bigger size, i.e. Twilight Imperium, and some of the other ones you mentioned. And being the size of store I am, I'll buy one and put it on my shelf. I can probably guarantee that if it's available. Depending on if they do crowdfunding or not. That's kind of my judgment of how many I keep on my shelf, right? Because if they do crowdfunding and a majority of the people that are going to spend 8 hours to 10 hours playing this game are probably willing to drop a pretty good chunk of money, because if you go entertainment value to money value, right, you probably are going to see, if they do crowdfunding, you're probably going to see a huge increase in that number of them sold on there, right? But again, me personally, as a store owner, I don't think I would want to keep more than one on my shelf. And then if it sells, just like I do Twilight Imperium, when I sell it, which is about every 3 or 4 months, want to run away, and I'll throw another one up, and I'll keep it there. And there's going to be a time where that doesn't go, and I just sit on it forever. But by that time, hopefully I've moved 3 or 4 or 5 copies of it. But it's not a game people come in and go, hey, do you got any Twilight Imperium on your shelf? Because it's been out for a very long time. And then also, usually you only need one game for 8 people to play it. So if I'm with a group of buddies, one of us is going to buy it, and the rest of us are just going to show up at night and play it, right?
Yeah, that tends to be me, the sucker who gets sucked into buying all those games, because I do have Twilight Imperium, I have Eclipse, and I will say that our session with 6 people that didn't know how to play the game at all, it took about 7 hours.
For what?
Twilight Imperium 4. And because that's going to kind of tie into the next part of this of, if you're going to sit down and play a game that long, do you want it to be episodic? Do you want this to be something you have next time you get together, another 7 hours, another time, another 7 hours? Or is it kind of nice to one shot and know next time you get back together, you can play a Blood Rage, you can play Earth, and not have to commit the next 7 hours of a game session? Because there's a game I won't say, because I say it every episode, but our session, we went about 8 hours to get through a few of the chapters.
Yeah.
And
you could always break that chapters up, though. You
can, but still, it's going to be a grind fest.
Well, even like Gloomhaven, Frosthaven, there's been a huge increase of that over the last couple of years.
Right.
ISS Vanguard, those games, they have a good stopping point in them. I remember when we played ISS Vanguard, there's a point where we okay, do we want to move on to the next mission, or are we done here? We'll pick it up next time.
Yeah.
But that feels more like a role-playing game, board game, not a board game that is meant to be played in one shot, right?
Right.
And you could break My Father's Work up into 3 different sections. You can break, because of the... You can.
No, yes.
Especially with a table like this that you have a drop down, you can put a top on and be done with it and keep it out and played. And the same thing with Gloom. You keep it out and played, you just keep going. But...
and there's
I don't know if there's one for the other. I think it depends game by game. I'm not pushing one way or the other. You really have to sell me on, and it isn't like, it's not an episodic, so I'm more excited. There's not really a way one way or the other, right? I remember back in the old days, I'm an old dude, we're playing Risk and he won't get out of Australia. So I'm ready for bed and we'll just pick it up tomorrow, leave the table the way it sets, nobody move anything, take a picture of it,
get the
go to
Polaroid
bed.
camera out, right?
Yeah, not that old. Still had phones, man. Still had phones. Anyway, take a picture of it, go to bed, wake up the next day, get together either later that day or next week and finish out our game that's already taken 6-7 hours.
Grandpa cheated while everybody was sleeping.
Oh, gosh. I know I moved some
Old rascal.
Yeah, finally kicked those guys out. Anyway, so There's not one way or the other. So kind of going into that question, I don't think it really depends on the game, whether episodic or not, or if I care to have one shot. I prefer, me personally, one shot done over. But that's only because it becomes hard to get the same group back together every time. And then it's like, Shay can't make it because he's got date night, or, you can't make it for whatever. You got to take your kid to school, whatever it may be. And then we're like, I don't really want to play with us. So then we're playing a different game anyway.
Right.
So those types of things as well.
Yeah. And I agree. I think also if every game that you play is a 6-hour shot, you have to have the right game group.
Yeah, I agree.
Period. Who are all invested the same way that you are. Because I think even for more casual people, 6 hours, 8 hours, I mean, that's a grind fest for most people to sit at a table. And I think that if you're going to play a game like this, like I said, without the right game group, you're going to have people who over time are going to start leaving your game group. This is the kind of stuff you bring to the table all the time, because people don't want that much weight every time they sit down to play a game. Sometimes people just want the casuals. Sometimes people just want the quick hits. And sometimes it's really nice in a game night to go through and be able to play 2 or 3 different games and kind of have those kind of experiences, in my opinion. It's kind of fun to play some Heat, play some Splendor duels, and then throw in a third one as a little nightcap.
Exactly.
So I like I said, I think the right game group, and I think the theme has to hit you.
I agree with that.
For this
definitely the game. I don't know enough about the information about the game to say it's going to be great or not. I do know this. CCG has been Capstone has been really doing well with their stuff, and they haven't. I know the president. I've met him a couple times, and he doesn't seem like a guy that would take a chance on something he doesn't feel would be very popular. So if he feels that he can take this game, reskin it, bring it back to life in some sort of way, and everybody's going to play it, I think he's got something. I think he's intelligent enough. He's got something going for him. So,
well, speaking of optimism and excitement, I'm going to bring up a topic here for our second headline that we know Dion is a big fan of, and that is going to be Star Wars Unlimited. From Asmodee, they've announced that they have 6 sets already planned for the upcoming TCG or living card game. Or is it a TCG?
It's a CCG.
CCG, okay. So they've got 6 sets already planned before release. So here's the question: Is that too optimistic for a game that's coming out on the backs of Star Wars Destinies? Or is it kind of riding the coattails of some really big hits in the TCG world of Lorcana, Sorcery TCG that just came out? There's a big wave of new interest in the TCG world.
Yeah, I mean, when you say TCG, CCG, in my mind, and I could be wrong because they've changed over the time, I just want to clarify for everybody listening and watching. In my mind, CCG is something that we're going to play against each other, and we have to buy cards to add into the deck that we're going to play. A trading card game, to me, a TCG, is more or less I'm collecting them to trade them. I'm not really playing with them, right, so much. So I don't know if that's correct. You could probably speak more on that, being that when you're creating, you can tell what the things are. But for me as a store, that's kind of the way I remember them, but I could be wrong. So anyway, with that being said, I'm super excited about Star Wars Unlimited, only because I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. There's a couple things that throws me off. One, God, please, Fantasy Flight, don't screw this up, please. You have a history of what someone said to me today is hilariously spot on. You are the EA of CCGs, TCGs. You are, you're the EA games, so you're that says a lot. That means that you kind of,
well, they fall under Asmodee at this point.
Well, yes, I'm just saying that, to me, like the way that they go about their production schedule and the way that they do things, they're like, I'm really excited, everybody buy this, and they're like, nah, we're kind of moving this direction and dropping this. I mean, they did that with the in the miniature wargaming community. They feel that way very much, and they've done that a couple times with their miniature wargaming stuff. That they're like, this is everything, and we're fully behind it. And you're like, yeah. And they're like, oh, rule change. Now you got to buy this kit to upgrade this that you don't got to do this with, and then you're like, I don't really want to be a part of this anymore. They're definitely scary that they have control over it. I hope they do a really good job. I love a lot of Fantasy Flight games. If you can remember, they were in my top publishers. So I'm very excited that they have it. I'm excited that Asmodee has it. It means I can get my hands on it very easily.
Here's why I'm not excited about it, though.
Okay.
Star Wars Destinies. because you had a game that was very
But who
well
did that
loved.
one?
Fantasy Flight. Right.
That's why I'm saying.
You had a game that people loved and enjoyed, kind of the same with the Transformers game too. And they literally turned their back on the community and they walked away. And I remember seeing them at Gen Con highlighting this. I mean, this was like one of their big shows at Gen Con. And I just kept thinking to myself, like, if I was somebody who invested heavily in Star Wars Destinies, and now I see you coming out here with a new game on the same thematic universe with some similar characteristics, let's say, I just can't help but feel very angry and frustrated and not. It'd kind of be like Magic saying, okay, all 100,000 cards we've created, that's old Magic.
Well,
Now
they
here's-
do that with their, like
they
some of their
kick 'em out.
game modes. They're like,
Yeah, but
you
they
can only
still-
play the top
But
four
they
of
still
whatever.
have formats that pretty much allow almost every card in.
Yeah,
My point
so-
is them just saying, nope, every card in Magic history now is gone, and now we're going to start Magic 2. And from here on out, no cards from the
No,
previous
because
collection.
it's a different.
is
It doesn't
gone.
play the same. It's different. There's no dice to this
No,
one.
but I'm
There's
saying
no
it's just- it's similar though.
I've seen it played a few times on YouTube and so forth. I've watched the videos. I've also there's a place you could play it online, and I've seen that played online with other people. And I'm excited about it because I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, and it's like, put Star Wars on the box, I'll buy it. I am a little upset that Fantasy Flight released a really cool Star Wars deck builder. I have it in the other room in
Yeah,
there.
that's a
It's
great
2-player,
game.
and I was hoping they would focus on building more expansions and making that better, with like adding different, like the Mandalorian or something, adding more characters and involving themselves. And it feels like they've kind of not announced anything on that, and they're focusing here. The fact that they're willing to give 5 sets, I think that's more or less telling their community that, hey, we're going to at least do 5. We're not 6, I'm not guaranteeing, but we'll at least do 5, which is good to a way that at least I know I'm going to have more content if they're going to guarantee me 5. Now, they can always change their mind. But again, that's why they're compared to EA, because EA gives you the same game every year. Right?
Literally,
Madden,
sometimes
buy
the
the new
exact same
Madden.
game.
Buy the new Madden.
Yeah.
We added this little bit of tweak of update. And you're like playing, I was like, feels just like last year.
The update's also broken too.
Yeah, and then broken, or they'll pull it back. Like they'll also go, oh, we're going to do this new franchise mode. Now, franchise was in 6 years ago, and it took you this long to get it back. And they do
Right.
that all the time to you. They're like, but it's new, and you're like, all right.
Yeah.
And I get hyped about those every year. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to play the new UFC. Same UFC as I played last year, right? It's just
you got
better
new
graphics.
characters.
New carry. I mean, that's it, right? It's like
Although I will be in on the new college football game coming out next year.
Oh, sold.
I mean,
Pre-sold, sold, double sold. Without making it a video game podcast, we can go there. Okay.
I mean, I haven't bought Madden in like 5-6 years. I used to
every
buy
year.
religiously. NHL I used to, and I'll tell you right now, I will be like 1999 Matt will be hanging out GameStop. Like, I know I can download it. I know I can, but I'm standing out line outside at midnight waiting to pick
I'm
up
with
a
you.
copy.
I am with you. It will be downloaded and waiting to be
gosh,
played.
that game would be so good.
Probably at midnight. When they go, okay, we're really. I'll probably even do one of those where you set your console to a different country so you can get it 6 hours early.
Just to hack
That
it.
will be me. Just so we're clear, I do that with NHL every year. I do it with Madden every year, so I can play early. Anyway,
Shay, anything that you want to add on?
yeah, Shay, would you like to add on to our total off rails here?
No, because I'm not really a Star Wars fan, as people know.
Then your opinion doesn't matter.
I'm
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I look, I already got one legal crack that I'm in. I don't want to even think about other ones.
Wow, yeah. No, that is another thing too. I mean, the market, the way where the market is with One Piece, Loricana, how are they going to release? Are they going to be readily available? Is it going to be more like a Magic release schedule? I mean, those are things that we don't know until January. And as soon as I get more information, trust me, I will be sharing it with my community. But I'm super excited about it. I like the idea. I like the gameplay. I've seen the gameplay on it. I like the cards. There's a bunch of things I'm very excited about, and I'm going to be that nerd that will be buying a bunch of it and playing it. I won't try to compete in it, because there's going to have a very competitive atmosphere from what I understand. I will be the guy playing with my best friend Ryan in the back, and we're just, oh, you're cool, Chewbacca, and just laugh and joke and play and have a blast.
Homebrew sets, not
Yeah.
meta decking.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been that way with any CCG, just because they can nickel and dime you. So usually whoever has the most money in their deck is usually the person that wins the game most of the time. Not every time. You could be, but it's very difficult. So I don't want to be that, but I'm very excited about it. I'm glad that they're already committing to 5, so we can move on. Sorry. Yeah, I'm done geeking out.
My opinion, sorcery is a better play. So
have you played
yes.
both of them?
No, sorcery, the card game that just came out.
But have you played Star Wars yet?
I have not played.
Well, then you cannot say that.
I said my guess is I'm guessing.
I thought you said my opinion is sorcery is a better game. Those are
No, I think I said
written in stone words from Matt. You can't say that if you're not played them both.
If I could reverse, if I could rewind, I think I would have said I feel sorcery is the better. Is going to be my guess.
You feel it's going to be better.
Yes.
See, and I've seen a lot of sorcery, and I'm not excited about sorcery.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
You showed it last week. I think you're showing it to me, or just early, a couple days ago.
Art, old school magic, tile movement on the board, and they're only going to do 1 to 2 releases of new sets a year, which I actually really like because to your point, I'm sick and tired of being nickel and dime by everybody. This whole magic fiasco. I used to try to collect a full set of every series that came out, and it was just like when it got to every month there's something new. It's like, forget this. You'll go poor. So, and I was running out of house. So with that, that kind of wraps up industry news for this week, which brings us to the pit.
Every time. It has to.
Okay. I've been dreading this segment because there's a word I have to say that I feel like I'm going to botch here. All right. So recent trends for traveling with board games is to Matryoshka.
There we go.
Matryoshka. There we go. Your games. Matryoshka.
Yeah, because it's
Matryoshka.
Yeah, there you go. Very Russian.
Noska. Oh, Matryoshka.
Because ska music. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, Matryoshka.
See, it works.
That's where I stop. You fill in the rest.
I'm all done.
So yeah, so think Russian dolls for those of you who also don't understand the word like me. It's the process of taking a large box, removing the contents, and then loading the box up with other games inside of it. So apparently this is a big thing that's being talked a lot on like BGG and some other websites as a new travel storage system. So with that said,
I'm just getting chills down my back.
We have to make a call here. So as the loser of the last one, I'll let you go first, Shay.
Oh, wow.
What? Losers goes first. Okay, so this is my camera. It's not. This is definitely my camera. Y'all pointed to this one. I think. They switched up cameras on me. I'm just gonna be real with you. This is usually the camera I usually point to, and now, that's not the camera.
AI Brandon is just killing in the back. Just keeping Shay on his toes.
Good job, AI.
You know what, Matt? Go first. No, I'm frustrated.
All right.
Go.
Well, I was hoping you'd go first so I could just highlight all the
Poop
reasons
all over
why
you're wrong, right? Well, I'll go first. I don't mind.
Because we talked about this prior to filming tonight about how we felt about it. And I mean, the answer is no, this is a terrible idea. There are
it gives me
there's way too many components in these games. There's way too many parts. And at the end of the day, there are companies that make wonderful travel bags that will house 4 to 5 big box games like Thunder Road Vendetta or Twilight Imperium. I mean, these things hold a ton of games now. And when I look at a bag like that, which I have one, Game Tables, I think is one I have. It's wonderful. It's a backpack. It fits on my back. I can put usually on average of 8 to 10 games inside of it, carry it easily anywhere I go for a game night if I'm going. Why in the world would I create so much more work for myself when I get home unboxing this stuff?
Matt, I hate to agree with you. However,
but it feels so
I
right,
literally,
feels good
when we talked about it earlier, I had chills running down my back of how horrible of an idea that is. You take a box, a big box, you remove contents, or you keep the contents, squish them over,
right,
and then you use other games in that box that you've taken out of the box. Dude, I am the type of person that when I open a game, I want to make sure everything gets built back correctly. And I wipe my stuff down sometimes. I make sure everything's nice, fit perfectly in there. So this is like irking, like the same thing when I first played Pandemic Legacy and they were like, rip the card. I was like, no, I can't do that. I just cannot physically rip this card.
Pretend I did.
Let's pretend I ripped the card and let's put it over here, even though I will never use it again. And I still haven't thrown out my Pandemic Legacy. It's still in the back. I can't do it. I don't know. It just drives me insane to think that I mean, that's great that it's happening. Whatever. However you want to travel. We have a guy that comes in here. He has like a little box, and he'll open it up, and it's a plastic box. I think my wife has one for knits and bits down in the basement. Anyway, each of those little bitty has a card game in it, and he's removed the box and he's put them in there. And then I see, like, we do a lot of homeschool board gaming things, and I see a lot of homeschoolers that will have files for all of their games, and then they'll be like, oh, we're gonna play whatever it is, and they'll pull it out, right? And it's in a folder, and they'll just open it up and play it. And I'm just like, oh my God, where's the box? Where's the insert? What did you do? And it's gotten me. I just like literally am freaked out. I'm freaked out now, man. I'm freaked out, man.
All right. Well, Shay.
AI, where's my camera? Which one am I going? Is it this one, AI bot?
Oh
it
my
is
God.
over here. Okay. No, it has not been the same one every game. Anyway, so do what you do. Like, why? It doesn't matter. Y'all overthink this. Like, if it's space, look, some of these games don't have good storage solutions, period.
I agree with that.
Like, I heard one thing with Feast for Odin. Feast for Odin do not have a good storage system.
I agree.
If you don't hit a couple like Uno Deal or a little bit of like Sushi Go, oh, not Sushi Go. What's that game? Just put a couple of card games right there with it. I don't see a problem. I know the type of bags. I have a really good bag, but I also have a back. I have a really bad back. I can't be hauling 8 games anymore. I'm not that young anymore. I said it. I might look young, but I'm not. Jesus. I literally had my back hurt when I was head bobbing one time. I was sleeving the one time that I was sleeving cards.
Sleeving games.
For a prototype that
So you wanted to protect something that was
you sleeve games for a prototype because you want to actually make it feel like a game, make it feel like a card game. And so when you can do paper cards and you can slip it in there and then put like a magic card behind it, and then you sleeve that so you actually feel like it's cards. Has nothing to do with me wanting to protect the game. So anyway. Anyway, the whole point, what I'm trying to say is that if you can find a way to do that, that will make traveling easier, because go on a plane with that big purple backpack.
I would just like to point out one thing. 8 games worth of stuff in one box weighs the same amount as 8 games.
No. But this is the thing, though. When
AI bot throwing some shade.
It's not a temporal backpack.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm thinking correctly.
Put it in the print. There you go.
I'm thinking
Temporal
correctly
backpack.
of how they're doing it.
Don't ask me to say
They're
that.
probably taking
look at that.
one game that's big.
That is perfect.
And then putting like 3 or 4 smaller games into it to make it easier to travel with.
Now, Shay, I will defend you here. AI bot, Brandon, is technically it would not weigh the same because you are removing the cardboard and the unnecessary fillings that would come with all the different boxes.
But it's
so
damn,
technically it
it's
would
damn
weigh less.
close. I mean, you're getting all the heavy stuff inside it and putting it
Artificial intelligence is
also
supposed
the
to know
games,
everything.
I cannot imagine traveling with any Lacerda games like that. Oh my God, they have like a perfect fit of exactly where it goes and what happens. I can't even imagine taking like Seven Wonders Architects inserts that were really good and removing them and putting them in a different box. That alone just irks me. Like, what if a piece falls out into the box and I don't get it back in the original box in the game? I'm freaking out right now. Like, I can't even handle. But I can't even handle that kind of pressure.
I feel like how y'all seen this, and maybe I'm wrong, is you're trying to take On Mars, put Arc Nova in it.
No.
And then also putting Destinies in it.
No.
And then putting things. Literally.
No, I mean, the example that we had was that you take like
Feast for
Odin,
and
you move the pieces, which I don't know how the hell, because my Feast for Odin, I got to shove the top down. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just a poor packer. I don't know. But you shove everything over and then you put like a whole nother game in it.
Right.
So like, I don't know. A Tiwa. You put a Tiwa in it. because a T was about the same size box, but it's a little less. So maybe you can slide it underneath the pieces. And then I've got to go through all the pieces, figure out what piece is what. And I just, and even if you bag it separately, I don't know, man. I'm already stressing out.
The only solution that I have seen that I actually bought was at Hobby Lobby. Mm-hmm. There was a big plastic bin case. Mm-hmm. And then inside of it, it had sectional.
Yeah, that's what that's what Nick brings.
So that, to me, for like a Taco Cat Go cheese pizza, and then a game of Yahtzee, and then the Crew, and things like that are small pack away games. Mm-hmm. I think that could work out well to eliminate all the extra boxes in the house. Because this one could hold up to 16 games in it without the boxes. And the games are sectionaled off in their own unique
Dude,
containers.
if you just brought me a bag of a game, I'm checking out already. Like, you just brought a bag to me and you were like, let's play this game. It's in this bag. And I don't care what it is.
If I bought you a bag of Star Wars Unlimited.
Well, that's different. But
you said any.
Any game, board game. Remember, we just talked about CCG is not a board game.
You are finding some ways
any
to wiggle
board
out.
game you bring to me in a bag. I set the box up at the table, and that is part of the table presence for me, right? Like, I'm sorry, I can't. I cannot agree with this. I don't care what Russian doll scheme you got going on here. It's not going to work for me.
You sound like somebody who is okay with paying for extra packaging on a plane. Like
absolutely,
that's what it sounds like.
Absolutely,
I hear, I'm trying to only work with one bag, and that bag's free. That's what I hear, and I expect it.
If you won't let me carry this on,
every pocket with a game.
That's right.
And you better
carry on
let's
only.
do it. Carry on only. I feel it. So don't. Look,
Leon's like, I'm gonna check 2 bags.
I'm gonna check 2
3
bags
if I have to.
See that? Yep. No.
Like, if I'm gonna take my games on a plane, first of all, I'm already nervous about taking them anywhere. I don't want to ding my boxes. I don't want to,
Right,
so
you
that
don't want to ding
alone.
your boxes, so you can be able to put it in a whole safety little thing that won't ding it.
Because it's in
anyway,
there
It's a good thing
and
Gen Con's close enough for you to drive to.
Yes,
Right.
God,
I can
I could
imagine
not
a nightmare that would be for you.
Oh my gosh.
Honey, why did you get 17 check-ins? Every one had to have its own.
Well, and the reason I don't go to Spiel, you know how expensive the freight back would be for me? Because that's my type of gaming. That's European gaming over there. I would have to have my own private plane. So subscribe, like, and get my own private. So I need my own private plane to fly back just with my board games.
So with that, we'll leave it up to all of you out there to help inform us what you think. Should you Russian doll your games to condense them down into one box, or just let them be the way that they were intended to be in their own box?
Make sure you add the caveat for traveling, because I think that's the big picture
travel.
here.
Yeah, I agree.
For traveling.
Yeah,
I agree, for traveling. Yeah, I'll give you that, Shay. Yes. And you're still wrong, but yes. Well, boys, that was the pit. We'll wait to see, because I think I already know who won that one.
Oh, easily.
So,
yeah, I don't.
With that said, this week's Feet to the Fire. Dion, you are up, my friend.
So I didn't prepare very well. First of all, let me put that caveat in here. I was busy this week. We got a lot of big releases coming out this week. So Apiary, some other nice board games that are coming out on the shelf I have to prepare. So with that being said, I did a poor job at bringing you Feet to the Fire. However, the only thing I can think of is a yes or no question type of thing. If you have played a game that you love, do you feel it is fair to buy another copy of that once the pieces are worn out? Or do you just keep playing the broken bound pieces? So do you buy another copy to support the publisher, or do you do things like sleep? Or do you do things to protect the game as long as you can? So if you got a game that you've played, 10 to 15 times, the edges are wearing on the cards or the board or the pieces, because you can't sleeve pieces, do you buy another copy to support the publisher and the designer?
I feel like he's really leading us to an answer here.
Or
I know the answer quickly.
Do you just keep playing your broken piece down game?
So the answer is I would have no problems buying another copy of the game if it was something that I loved that I felt was unusable going forward.
It's still usable. Let's say it's still used, just war. You've got your game. Let's say you've got your gameplay out of it.
So back to the question of if it's a card game, like Exploding
what
Kittens,
number?
I'll use that as
I guess
an
to make it
example.
instead of a yes or no answer, what number of plays do you feel okay? I've gotten my money's worth out of this game, and I should go buy another copy to support the designer.
I would say it's more emotion than it is plays for me. Like
Really?
For me, and when I look at my collection of games at home, I look at it as what does it mean to me? So even if I haven't played a game a lot, if there's some sort of connection I have with like a memory or maybe I haven't played it enough, but something happened to a piece, I have no problem as long as I know I'm going to play it again. If I'm not, then it's an excuse to get rid of a game and open up some shelf space. So
I cannot believe I'm going to agree with you, Matt. This.
I'm telling you, boys, it feels good when you do.
I mean, I'm kind of going to agree with you because I wouldn't buy another game. Because
You wouldn't buy another game?
if it's still usable, no. Why would I buy another game?
Because you got your play out of it. It's a way to support it. It's like there's a thing here where you want him to keep doing more games. I figured from you out of everybody, I would get a different answer.
No, I would keep the game I have and buy another game. If they had made another game that was cool, I would buy another game from them. For instance, I think I brought this up. Betrayal. I didn't throw away my second Betrayal because I got the third edition of it. And I'm not going to not play the second edition because the third edition is all new and the other one is definitely have some worn and some torn on it. I'm just going to enjoy my game. And then for instance, if I get a chance to, maybe if it's a card game, like a Monopoly deal, and there's like cards missing, and that game is like $10, sure, fine. I'm not gonna buy another $70 game just because of a little bit of worn, torn things. Let's be up your dang on mind.
I figured from anybody.
Let me come home with another.
Well, I figured from
game
anybody,
just 'cause-
especially our designer at the table or developer at the table, would say buy another copy of the game because you're supporting that developer. You're supporting the growth of that
I
game.
feel like
if you're enjoying, because there's a certain number of enjoyment. All board games have a certain number, whether you're rough with them or not. All games have a certain number of enjoyment out of them. And then there's a point where you go, okay, I'm going to buy a new one, or I'm going not, like you said, I'm going to throw it out because the shelf space has just been there and I need the shelf space, which is fine as well. But there's a point where you can only get so many plays out of a game.
Let me know in the comments. Does this feel like shame every week?
No, it does not. I was just saying, out of everybody, I figured you would be.
Because this
I'm
week,
not shaming you. I'm just saying
last
that
week was the thing. Another duxification. I can just name them. Is this the Shame Shay segment?
Yeah,
the
this
last
is-
half of it.
the last half is definitely let's pick on Shay.
Because
you're just always wrong, and now you're with him.
Always wrong.
How was I wrong?
Because you were with him.
I gave the right answer.
You both,
fact,
you both
you know?
feet on fire, burned off. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay,
I,
all right.
I thought of one last minute, so that's what you get.
Okay.
All right. Well, sorry for all of you for that. But I do feel like we were right. I mean, if you love the game and I want to keep playing it, I'll buy a new copy if it's something that's irreversible damage that ruins the plays going forward. But on the flip side of it, I've never really had that problem. So, but like I said, card games, things like that, like Exploding Kittens, I played a ton of that. The cards started to deteriorate. I sleeved them. So it removed the problem of the cards.
And me, myself, having a board game cafe,
didn't
I
need
see
to buy a new
deterioration
copy.
a lot quicker, right? So buying another copy to replace that copy so I have something newer on the shelf to play is important for me. But even my personal collection, I was at that with Dominion to where I played it so much, the cards, I didn't sleeve it. I should have. I did not. But the edges were starting to wear, and I'm thinking, I really enjoy this game. I should buy another copy to support.
But with that said, I've probably bought 5 copies of Monopoly through the years just because parts go missing. And instead of trying to play a cobbled together version, I'll just go buy one. Or Clue.
Yeah.
Gosh, how many copies of Clue I've bought because kids rip the cards, bend the cards, and you would know who's who at that point. So.
But would you buy another Oathsworn?
No.
Exactly.
You did. Hold on.
That's exactly
I bought
what
one
I'm saying.
copy.
That's exactly what I'm
That's
saying.
exactly what they released. They were like, oh, buy another copy. Oh, this time we're going to give you the pretty chips.
Well, I got the pretty chips the first
Exactly. So you being deluxeified seems like you would definitely be for replacing a game that has some good
time.
wear and tear in it.
Because they often will offer additional purchases for people who bought the first wave. They'll say, here's your chance to upgrade what we've upgraded.
Deluxeification,
So you don't have to upgrade the entire game or get a new replacement. You're just simply getting the updated version. So
Oathsworn's a little different because it's like once you play through the story, you kind of don't have a
when
reason
I'm
to go
done
back
with
through.
Oathsworn, I don't envision a point where I'll probably ever go back and play it again.
Getting through it is probably going to be the struggle.
Well, that's the problem.
Hey AI, what? No. Fine AI.
Let's move on to game of the week. We'll let you bash it out in the comments of what you think on that topic. So Shay, let's go to you first. Or you know what? I'll go first.
There you go.
I'll let you two cool off a little bit. That's what you get for feet to the fire. It's getting hot in here. So I'm gonna go to my game of the week. My game of the week this week is from Portal Games, who
I want to play that.
we've talked about before. It's called 11. This is a football manager board game. This is a game that effectively you take on the role of a manager of an entire football organization. This isn't so much about what you do on the field. This is so much more about what you do off the field. There's a lot of team management, player management, and if you back to EA Sports and Madden,
I love that.
there's a lot of focus of franchise mode. Where are we going to be? What are the ticket prices? What do things cost? So there's a lot of off the field management that you're constantly trying to build this championship team with. They've got a ton of expansions, which I do have most of them, that just kind of add extra layers of fields and locations and extra nuances to add difficulty to the game. So if you enjoy things like Football Manager, Hockey Manager, or any of the other simulators that are based on pure management, this is an absolute must pick up game for you.
So my question to you is, how do they figure out? Because I'm really excited about that game, and I'm not a football fan when it comes to soccer or football, we like to call it side. Anyway, I do have it on the other side for sale. I've had it for a while for sale. Nobody's really picked it up or played it, or opened it, or took it home. How does it figure out? Because when you're playing Madden, the AI will simulate your games and let you know if you're winning or losing
There's
based on
small amounts of you will play the game.
Okay.
There is a field. There's a neoprene mat that you get with the deluxified version, of course.
Hey-o.
And so there is a small amount of actually playing the game through actions and some maneuverabilities that you get to try to help the team. But again, that's a minuscule part of what this game is about.
Because of the success of how well you did as a manager. So like when I'm playing Madden, like my ticket sales go up because I'm winning more games, right?
Correct. And it's one of those kind of, think of it like an engine builder. There's a lot of engine builders do this, that lifts this, that lifts. Now you have more of this, you can do this.
That's intriguing.
So there is a lot of the element of kind of pushing this forward to get more access to this, and now we can do more of that. So like I said, honestly, it's probably a game right up your ilk that you probably would enjoy.
I would definitely enjoy. I think I want to play it. So, my game of the week is Hostage Negotiator by our friends at Van Ryder Games. Now, this is a solo game, and as I mentioned before, I'm not a solo player. However, this is probably one of their best solo games that they have out. See, I took that shot. In Hostage Negotiator, it's a solitaire card game. It's a dice game. You have dice as well. You're playing the negotiator that's trying to talk the very hostile hostage negotiator, the hostile person down from doing something he'll regret, and by doing so, being successful and talking them down a bit would help out. So it's a really nice game. I like the cards in there. I think that they have a good if this happens, that happens type of thing. I'm a big fan. They also have a career mode that I'm a huge fan of. And I don't play solo games, but I love to get a bunch of friends around the table and we all try to talk down the hostage, and then we go, "You killed Sally," and we all like lunge at each other and laugh, and it's a great time. 1+, as
Solo
Shay
plus.
would like to say.
Yes.
Solo plus.
Shay?
My game is
Heat?
no,
Not
it's
anymore.
No. I deserve that, I think.
No, Shay, I want to say this. You were a wonderful host, and you were wonderful to play with, and I thoroughly had a great time.
Yeah, I have a great time too. I mean, it sucks to lose, but I was chilled.
Yeah.
I got the second. I was happy. Anyway, it is Thunder Road Vendetta. Like, there's the heat that you want to play cards to get better and try to get faster, and then you just want to blow some crap up. And that's Thunder Road, baby. If you like heat, but you wish you were playing Twisted Metal, then you want to play Thunder Road Vendetta because it's a dice roller. You're trying to race, but then there's modes that you're just trying to be the last one standing, and you can blow up. There's helicopters, there's bombs, there's different characters you could be. Oh, and the board is just a little nice thing that can make. Anyway, my game of the week.
It's a lot of
Thunder Road
It's very
Vendetta.
Mad Maxy.
Yes, it is. And
Well, I mean, it's redone by like Restoration Games. I remember the old Thunder Road, and it was not anywhere near as well done as the new one. I think the new one they did a really, really good job.
Well,
with.
Restoration Games.
Yeah,
has
they've been doing really good.
runs.
Yeah, because they take some of the games that from my childhood that I loved, and they're like, let's make this better. And of course, I love that.
Right.
I think there's not enough people going back and bringing those because of the highlight of the games, going back and bringing some of those gems from back then. And even now, just re-releasing some gems of. I mean, when you talk about some of the best games on the market that I played, are probably games Shay flipped over because he wasn't, into board gaming during that time, right? And there's so many now to choose from, he might skip right over. And I hear people go, oh, my first game that broke me in is like Wingspan. And I'm like, oh, you missed a bunch of really good other games that are kind of leads up to that. But I agree. I think Thunder Road Vendetta.
I also think they did Ra too, didn't they? And that was just,
Ra is another one I think that the Restoration Games did.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a couple other ones. The Tower, the Dark
Thief.
Tower, the
Dark Tower.
Stop Thief is a good one they just recently did. Didn't they do the Return to Dark Tower as well?
Yes,
Which is a really well done, like childhood bringing, using that
With a sweet
nostalgia.
tower that, got the battery.
And then they
power,
randomly
too.
do Unmatched too.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is not remade, but it's a really good game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a remake of the old Star Wars game that I forget the name of it.
I loved that game. I'm trying to think of the name of it as well, but
that's
I
what
loved
Unmatched
it.
is.
Yeah.
It's that.
Well,
reskin.
kind of, but the difference is Unmatched has different. Don't get me wrong; it's very similar, but Unmatched has like different boards, not just one open hexagon board like that Star Wars game was.
Yeah. Well, it's just because they're trying to be thematic around the different characters coming out.
Yeah, probably.
So with that, though, I'm glad we could find some peace in that segment. So with that, we're going to wrap up here. So once again, we want to thank our partners with this week's episode, Van Ryder Games. Again, games like Final Girl, Detective, and then, of course, this
Hostage Negotiator.
Hostage Negotiator, which sounds pretty interesting.
Which they have a new one coming out at the end of the month called Garden Guests, which looks really cool. I can't wait to get that open. We're going to open it on the 30th because it's not out yet, so they'll be sending it to me soon. But
So thank you to Van Ryder for partnering with us. And hopefully we'll have some cool stuff with them coming up soon. And then, of course, Voss Media, thanks for hosting us and letting us do this here. So any closing thoughts, gentlemen, before we wrap up?
I recently got a game that we thought would be. I got that solo game.
Okay.
I did it.
Warp's Edge?
Yeah, no. That solo game, that Spire, what was it? It's by Orange Theory.
Oh, Spiritfire?
Yes.
You backed it.
Yes. Because I want to see the mystery box.
All right,
Actually, I've seen gameplay of it, and it actually looks like a really good game. And people have been reviewing it and saying that it is definitely a different take on a campaign-esque game.
Okay. Interesting.
So I backed it. I mean, the $1. I'm not gonna buy it yet, but I get it, keep it going. So if I do want to, I will.
Okay.
But yes,
Dion?
support your friendly local game store. Support your designers and developers.
all these shots because.
All right. And with that, gentlemen, of course, my closing thoughts are it's always wonderful to be here and share this time with you guys. And more importantly, for all of you out there, I think it's most important to say this to you is that champions never stop playing.